while governance expert Dr. Sam Koma joins us for more on the story. Dr. Koma, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Surely there must be lessons here around processes, particularly when it comes to the appointment of individuals in very strategic positions, both administratively for the city, but that are also strategic politically, because we know what happens whenever there's a new party in town. They want to bring in their own city manager.
Yes, thanks, Kathy, for the opportunity. So you're quite right. This is a big lesson for municipal councils, 257 in number throughout the country, because the Constitution and the Municipal Systems Amendment Act and the Municipal Structures Act vest authority on municipal councils in making appointments of municipal managers and the other senior managers directly accountable to municipal managers. So in this instance, if you look at the High Court ruling, it is quite clear that the Municipal Council of the City of Joburg undermined and also transgressed its own standing rules and orders. And the ruling is quite clear that the Municipal Council of the City of Joburg did not follow a proper procedure in arriving at the decision it made in appointing Mr. Floyd Brink. So there were two council resolutions that were reviewed and set aside by the High Court. The first one is the consideration and resolution of the Municipal Council, the decision they took in 2022 that looked into rescinding its own resolution regarding the advertisement of the position of the city manager, and also the other resolution relates to the actual appointment of the municipal manager, that is Mr. Brink. So the High Court says in these two instances, the Municipal Council procedurally did not follow the applicable standing rules and orders, and also the applicable law in this instance.
Dr. Koma, the reality is that the only reason why this matter is where it is today is because there was appetite, particularly from the Democratic Alliance, to fight this decision in court. That is also something that requires resources. We have seen allegations of appointments, particularly in the position of city managers, because these ultimately become the accounting officers of the municipality, where those have been contested, but political parties don't always have the resources to fight it in court. Do you think that this kind of decision sets a precedent of sorts? Do you think that it's going to change part of the culture that we have seen, particularly at a local government level?
Yes, to some extent. So increasingly, we've seen the courts pronouncing on legality of appointments of municipal managers. It has happened in KZN. We have two cases, one involving the Nkandla municipality and also the Sake Sizwe local municipality. We also have other cases in the Eastern Cape where the courts have invalidated and also declared these appointments unlawful. But remember also the law does empower the MEC for local government in a province to execute oversight role in regard to these appointments of municipal managers and the senior managers. So the law says an MEC for local government can take certain appropriate steps, including litigation in considering how municipal managers and the senior managers were appointed. So it is provided for in the Municipal Systems Amendment Act. But you are quite right. Increasingly, we may also see civil society getting into the space and ordinary local community members also taking certain steps in regard to how municipal managers and senior managers get appointed by the municipal councils. But the avenues are provided for in the Municipal Systems Amendment Act.
Dr. Koma, one of the basic issues here is really a conversation around how we depoliticize administrative roles and positions in government, and in particular in the space of local government, where more and more we are seeing that not only has it become politicized, but it's also leading increasingly to this localized violence that we see in certain parts of the country, because it really does come down to procurement and who gets what contract. And that's not good for service delivery, because it becomes the last consideration on the table.
Yes, you're quite right, Kathy. So overall, these manifestations that we see regarding issues around this violence that we are observing and witnessing in most of the local communities boils down to failure on the part of municipalities to adhere to legislation and also the laws that apply to how they're supposed to conduct the business of rendering services to local communities. So we have also seen, if you look at the AG reports, increasingly, the Auditor General does also flag this endemic problem facing municipalities in terms of failure to adhere to the laid down rules, regulations, and these pieces of legislation that applies to, for example, procurement and also human resources. But the Municipal Systems Amendment Act now clearly provides the need to delink political appointments and also statutory appointments at the level of the municipal managers and also the senior managers. So as I said, what we need to see going forward is this basic compliance on the part of these functionaries and decision makers in terms of what is stipulated in the provisions of the different pieces of law.
The implications of having to reverse such decisions are also quite grave, because in this instance, when it involves the city manager in Johannesburg, Floyd Brink, the court has also said every decision that he has made since being in that position can now come up under review. Now, that's over a year and a half worth of decisions that have been made.
Yes, Kate, you're right. So the relief about this ruling is that the judge reasoned that the decisions that were made by Mr. Brink while holding this position will not be rendered invalid. And this is consistent with how the courts have dealt with this kind of matters. You remember we had a case of the former NPA head, Sean Abrams, and also Simelane, who the Constitutional Court on 2 occasions invalidated their appointments, but the court said the decisions that they took stand and thus will not be rendered unlawful and invalid. And that is the reason also in the judgment, Budlender reasons the same, to say, let's not create a vacuum in the position of the city manager. I'm ordering the City of Joburg within a period of 10 days to consider appointing a city manager as an interim measure. But the ruling is quite clear that going forward, the City of Joburg should consider re-advertising the position of the city manager. So what the current leadership of the City of Joburg have done in terms of appealing the ruling, basically they are delaying the inevitable. And that inevitable is that, 1, the City of Joburg must proceed to re-advertise the position, and 2, consider appointing an acting manager in that position. So I don't see another court arriving at a different determination in this regard.
All right, we'll leave it there for tonight. Dr. Sam Koma is a governance expert.